Thank you for joining me today. This session is kind of all about helping you to get more sleep. If you are ADHD like myself, then you will probably recognize that there are times when you are not having the ability and capacity to have a good night's sleep. So I'm going to share with you a method to help you stay focused on getting enough sleep, because we know the importance of sleep is very, very high on our list, especially when it comes to the way it manifests if we don't get enough sleep. So in this session, you're going to learn what it's going to be like to, okay, got quite a few people coming in, so I'm just going to admit them all. What is stopping you from having an amazing sleep? There's going to be a rest method, so you know how to take this information and move it forward. I'm also going to help you create your own sleep plan so you can set up for success. And you're going to be able to take the next steps with EI, who is hosting this event, so that you can consistently move forward. Okay, let's see. Let's get this show on the road. So I'm neurodivergent. So I'm ADHD, dyslexic, dyspraxic, and autistic. And I might slur my words. I might go really fast. I might at times lose my train of thought. And I know that you're fellow advocates, so you probably know what it's like. And so we're here to kind of support each other in the best way we know how. And that includes just recognizing our differences and honoring and accepting those differences as well. This is part of the ADHD and sleep, the rest method. So let's give you a bit of context. So you know that if you're lacking sleep, you might get grumpy, irritable, you feel restless, while also feeling tired. And that will increase and exacerbate your inattention and mood challenges that come up when you have neurodiversity, when you have ADHD. And so at the end of this, we know that we're going to be challenged with certain things, challenges with falling asleep, challenges with staying asleep, and challenges of waking up. The first question is, what percentage of adults with ADHD report that they spend more than 1 hour trying to fall asleep at night? What is the percentage? So yes, it is high. It is 70%, which is a huge amount, right? But that kind of normalizes it. It means that we're just not the only ones that have that challenge. But the 30% that aren't, that just shows that there's still hope, right? There's still some ways to move forward. So with that in mind, well done for answering. What plant gives you better sleep? Very random question, but there is a method to this. Which plant gives you better sleep? Snake, hydrangea, snapdragons. Which one gives the better sleep? The snake plant. Yes, the snake plant is the correct answer. And I'll tell you why. It removes 4 out of the 5 main toxins in the air, including these words. I'm not even going to try to say these words, which make it powerful and purifying plant. And it can be sort of kept in the home. It's really low maintenance, really simple to take care of. I have one myself, which I'm going to share with you a bit later. A few of my things that I use myself to have better night's sleep. Next question. What is the best time to do exercise, to have a restful sleep? Yes, the majority of you guessed it right. It is at least 3 hours before. Very important to do the exercise, but also make sure that you've got enough space in your time between sleeping and exercising so that your body has an ability to rest and know it's time to sleep. So, have you heard of acupressure? If you're not, then I'm just going to tell you real quick. This is another thing that kind of is more like an alternative way to sleep. So if you've heard of acupressure, maybe press the heart on the bottom of the screen on Menti. If not, then that's okay, because it's basically just physical touch, which parts of the pressure points that correspond to different aspects of your physical and mental health. And the reason why I mention it now is not because I'm random, but because it actually helps with sleep. How many pressure points are there for sleep? So yes, there are 5 pressure points that actually help you with sleep, and I'm going to share those with you. These are the ones that you're probably thinking, but where are they on the body? There is a special fact sheet we're going to be sharing with you at the end of this that will help you to get more info from this, get more value. So that's that. Okay. Now, because it's an alternative, the 2010 study shows there are some results, but they're still looking into how they can bring more evidence to it. So it's not something I would necessarily say go for it, but it definitely is helpful for you when it comes to maybe looking at different ways to conquer your sleep. Is there anything in the information I just shared, or is there something that has been flagged up from before that stops you from having a restful sleep? Okay, because all these answers are going to help me to shape the session for you. So what is it? And let's see if we can get those resolved. So we've got overthinking, we've got work life, we've got head thoughts, demand avoidance, we've got overthinking again. So it's quite popular. Are there any other things? Stress, overstimulation, anxiety. Okay, great. So with that in mind, keep an eye on some of these things and let's make sure that we are answering this. So what have you learned so far? Just so that I know you're engaged. I would have given you the answers before, like, you've learned about, 70% of people that have challenges with going to sleep, spending an hour before they can. Maybe you've learned other people have similar challenges as you. Maybe you've learned that there's things that just keep coming up for you. Exercise 3 hours before sleep. Yeah. So yes, I'm not the only one. Fantastic. It's always great to know that you're not the only one. It's great. Acupressure can help. Plants can help. Don't exercise before bed. Fantastic. Amazing. Yes. Yeah. Great. Yes. So if you do any more than 3 hours, then that could be a challenge. So exercise throughout the day. Okay. So causes for difficulties, things that can help, hard to manage for lots of us. Yes, exactly. We've normalized it a little bit. We've made sure that we know that we're not the only one. Okay. So I'll say what you're excited about discovering when it comes to ADHD. Let's figure it out. And I'm asking you quite a few questions, but this is really important to make sure you're getting the most out of this session. What are you excited to discover when it comes to ADHD? And just to give you the recap so far, we've learned about a few of the challenges that might be stopping you from sleeping, having a restful sleep. We've also learned that we're all in this together. So it's not just one, most of us have this challenge. And we've also know that in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to focus on the REST method, which will actually help you to get moving forward. So the biological connection between ADHD and sleep problems. Can make a plan. Great. Excited about making a plan. I might not cover the biological connection, but I'll try my best as much as possible. Falling asleep peacefully since I'm knitting my brows. Okay. Great. Ways to help my children ADHD. Be positive. Excited to discover anything. How to get restful sleep. Love that. Get on top of it. Some steps that really work. Yeah, great. I would love to say I can promise you that these steps will work, but some of them might work really well for you. But I'm gonna actually help you throughout this session to make it as tangible and easy for you to implement changes. So stop eating late. Okay, excited to discover anything that can help. Love plants and making forward to getting a snake plant. Yes, I've got a snake plant here. This is my snake plant, if anyone can see it. I call him Fergus, and he's pretty awesome. If you are wondering if I actually do what I preach, then yeah, I do. And just before I even get into the REST method, I want to share with you some of the things I use. So the first thing is the snake plant. Like I mentioned, this helps to get rid of some of the toxins in the air, and it's really low maintenance. So you wouldn't have to water it every day. Like once a week is really enough. And it's just really a cool plant. It doesn't attract flies or anything like that either. The other thing I use, which is really helpful for me, is a diffuser. Now, this I just put water in and essential oil. Sometimes I just put water, and it makes the air much more cleaner for me, and it helps to relax me, especially if I use essential oils like frankincense and sandalwood. So these are a couple of my tools, and obviously essential oil is good. I also have other things that I use. I'm going to be diving through deeper throughout the session, but let's get to the REST method. So the REST method, the R stands for routine, and you're probably thinking, I know it's about routine, I can't quite always have an effective one. And it sounds obvious, but stick with me to the end, and I'm going to share with you how to have a really powerful routine that's going to work for you. We've already talked about the insomnia rates. people that have challenges with it. But we're talking about devices as well. So a routine might be like you're thinking, oh, I've got to have a step-by-step everyday thing. We're also talking about those blue lights that are on your phone, that are on your screen, that make you feel like you should stay more even awake. And when you use your phone, which some of you have directed to as that's what's happening, they make your brain think it's time to stay awake. So that overstimulation, exposure can really stop you from sleeping up to like 99%. So it's a massive challenge, and there are great strategies you can use. I personally use blue light blockers. So on my phone, I use night shift, which helps me to, I use it every day, all the time, throughout the day. On the Android, you can use night mode. On your laptop and desktop, you can use Just Get Flux. Now, this website is really good because what it does is it's an app, it's an application that basically dims the light so that when you're looking at the screen, especially if you haven't got maybe a blue light glasses, which are also something you could use, it helps you to block out those lights, those harmful rays that don't help you. So I have Just Get Flux on my desktop, and the comparison between when I used to look at my screen and it used to hurt my eyes compared to it just feels good now is enormous. So if you could just take one thing away from today, it's investing in some blue light blockers. And doesn't cost a thing, it's free. Just Get Flux, the free application. The app's on your phone is actually already on your phone, the night shift and the night mode. So both of those, 3 of those, depending on what your applications are using, will help. So block those blue lights. Do yourself a favor. They really don't help. And having the phone near you, obviously, when you're going to sleep, is a distraction. But having them with the blue light flashing on you is a big challenge. Okay, so we have blue light blockers. The next thing is, I'm going to be focusing back on screen time. So if you can cut your screen time 90 minutes before bedtime, then things will change. So instead of having replace your device with a book, with maybe some light music. I know some people like whale music. Turn off those sort of visual cues from your device, those notifications that come up. There's a book called, I think it's called Faster, and it's about the ADHD. And one of the things the biggest takeaway was turn off 90% of my notifications, because it's a way to distract you hugely, even during the day. If it's not that important, then turn it off. And you can always allocate 2 times a day when you're just looking at your notifications. But cutting the screen time to at least 90 minutes before bedtime and getting yourself ready for sleep, telling your brain this is what's happening, is so important. Great. Okay, so this is routine. And so having a set bedtime and a set bedtime routine might be challenging again, but again, it's one of those things that you write down on your list, because we're going to actually go through how you can make this a habit. I've made sure that habit stacking and habit forming is part of this. So the next thing in the REST method is exercise. And you're thinking, again, I know exercise is important. You've mentioned it already. And I'm going to mention it again and again and again, because these things are really important. But I wanted to ask you, do you practice HIIT? And you're probably thinking, no, yes, so what is that? I'm even going to explain what it is. Thank you. What is that? I thought I put that one in because somebody would be like, what is that? So I'm going to just going to answer Loli's question. And then I'm waiting for you guys to tell me if you practice HIIT. So 3 of you say yes, 4 of you say no, 2 of you say, what is that? So HIIT is it's a really great, it's high intensive interval training. So it's rapid movement for like 15 minutes. And it's really helpful for those of you that like variety, but also like quickness. And that's what HIIT gives you. And I'm going to explain a little bit about how it's important and why it's important. The name of the book, Lonely, is Faster Than Normal by Peter Shankman. It's a really good book and it's really helpful just to give you an idea. Biggest takeaway is definitely around the notifications. Another takeaway was creating a playbook for yourself. So a playbook that helps you navigate within the world as a person with ADHD. So there's never going to be one size fits all, as you already know. But this is a great way of practice for you to move forward. So yes, Faster Than Normal by Peter Shankman is the book that I mentioned, Faster Than Normal by Peter Shankman. And it's on Audible. So if you haven't got that, then go for it. Okay, so let me see where we are. In terms of HIIT, so if you go onto YouTube, go and put HIIT there and you'll find quite a few exercises, but it's just a really great way for you to get the burst of energy you need, get the focus you need, but then not have to worry about it. And it's really effective if you are a person that craves variety. So another benefit of obviously exercise is that improvement in working memory. Being able to switch tasks and screening out irrelevant stimuli, very important. So it doesn't just help with sleep, it helps with overall being able to focus as well. And when you're able to focus throughout the day, you're less anxious throughout the evening because you've done what you were supposed to or wanting to do. So you can do as little as 3 days a week, because that has actually shown to increase the use of the prefrontal cortex. And that's helpful because that's the part of the brain that helps you to do those things, to improve their working memory, to switch between tasks with ease. As you know, that can be quite a challenge. So what exercises do you commit to doing daily? Now, it could be walking. I used to try to commit to 10,000 steps a day. Now I just walk 4 times a week. And then the 3 times a week, I do some real light HIIT exercises. So what exercises do you want to commit to doing daily? Again, this is about creating that plan for you that helps you with your sleep. And so if you can commit to doing something daily, what is that thing? I love it. Walkers in their house. Walking is a really good way to exercise, and it's really simple and it doesn't take much. I've got a Fitbit, or I say it's a Fitbit, it's really not, but it's close enough. And I also have my own mini exercise bike that I got. Because if I'm at the desk all day long, I'm not going to be able to always go outside when I want. So I have a mini exercise bike. I sit by the desk and I'm ready to pedal, and it helps me to keep active and helps me just to have movement in my day. So open water swimming, walking, cycling, hula hooping, running, not all on the same day. Gotcha. But those are great things. Physio exercises daily, cycling, walking, and dancing. Yes, dancing's a really great one as well. Sometimes we're thinking we have to do it. It has to look a certain way to exercise. But if you can commit to doing it daily, then that's great. And, gradual ways. 1 minute for one day, could go up to 2. Eventually you might go to 10 minutes and then even longer. But gradual is always a good place to start. Okay. So we've got trying to do my program without use of the car, following my child, running and biking. Yes, yes, and yes. Many walkers here, which is great because walking's really easy, really simple. If you do 10,000 steps a day, then you can lose £1 to £2 a week, which over a period of time is good, and it still helps with your cognitive abilities as well. So the S is the sleep hygiene. So we've gone from routine, we've then talked about exercise, and now we're talking about sleep hygiene. And I'm not sure how many of you are aware of your sleep hygiene, but basically the way to create great sleep hygiene is to create a sleep sanctuary. So sleep sanctuary is your bedroom, to layman's terms. And it's where you just have those restful activities, where you do those pleasurable things like reading and meditation. And it's a place where it's cool enough for you to relax. Where if it's too hot, that might keep you up. And it's about banishing the television, in answer to the previous question, the computer, the smartphone, and other distractions from the space, and seeing it as your sanctuary. That's why it's a sleep sanctuary. So the question is, what would you want in your sleep sanctuary? This is what's in mine. A humidifier with essential oils, Himalayan salt lamp, a comfy bed, my snake plant, which I showed you Fergus before. If you didn't see Fergus before, this is Fergus. Cute, right? And I also have that humidifier I spoke about as well. I have journals. I have books as well, as a bookshelf with loads of books, and then I have candles as well. So that's in my sanctuary, that's in my space. So these are a few of my ideas. So I'm going to ask you, what would you put in your sleep sanctuary? Really comfy, cool pillows, fantastic. Blackout curtains, great. Yeah, that's a good one. White noise, fantastic. Thank you, EJ. Soft colors, yes, and yes. Like your cat, snake plant, books, candles, incense, dark room, earplugs, yes. Love that. Plant, salt lamps, soft light music. Lavender oil, yes. Lavender oil is a really good one because that is really good for all of your parts of your body, and it's really good. The fresh air, pictures of family, yes, because it's your sanctuary, right? It's that place that makes you feel calm, rested, relaxed. Crossword puzzles, soft toys, yes, because you can do a crossword puzzle when you're in bed. Like if you don't want to use journaling, that could be one of the things as well. Weighted blanket, calm music. I use crystals, books, candles, incense, salt lamps. Weighted blanket, a clean bedroom, yes. Sometimes when you have a very decluttered room, it does really help you to have a free mind, but not too free because you don't want to necessarily be blank. Big bed, essential oils, books, curtains, white noise. Awesome. I see a weight blanket is coming up quite often as well. Great. You lovely people. Let's see. The T is triggers. So this is where we're kind of bringing it together and we're making sure that these are things that are attainable. These are things that we can actually do. We know it's great to come on these workshops and to learn some great skills and connect. Sometimes it can be really hard to implement those habits. So a trigger is where we're doing, if you've never read the book, Atomic Habits. Why I say atomic habits, it's helpful because it really helps you. It's helped me a lot to really have a process to put things into a habit form. So we've got quite a few things here. The trigger, the craving, the response, and reward. That's how we kind of navigate when we are looking at the way we can have better sleep. So I shared one before. This is one maybe that comes up at work a lot. You hit a stumbling block on a project at work. You feel stuck, you want to relieve your frustration. So you switch to another project to relieve frustration. And you satisfy your cravings to feel relief because you've done something that you can do. Then switching tasks becomes associated with feeling stuck on projects. So you've associated a new thing, you've had the trigger. The trigger is something that's the problem, right? The challenge for you. And so the reason why we're focusing on the trigger is because it's really important to know what stops us from achieving what we want to achieve. And if we are having helpful habits that help us to move forward. So I could go deeper with that, but I'm not going to, because the point of this is much more around what you can do. What's the solution? Because every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. And so sometimes we are over-identifying with solutions that don't necessarily work for us. And so we take actions that sometimes don't give us the results we want. And so we need to create and vote so that the evidence that we are forming is part of our new identity, who we want to become, who's our best selves. And that includes the person that gets to have the great sleep and gets to put the phone in a different room, because we know that if we keep the phone in our room, we're too tempted to reach out for it and look maybe on the social media, and our brain will start looking at YouTube videos and it could go down a spiral. So the things that we've already looked at, the crossword puzzles, the perhaps journaling, the exercises minimum, so maximum, if it was 3 hours, don't do it. If it's 3 hours before bed, make sure you've done it. But if it's 2 hours and if it's 1 hour, don't bother, because it's going to keep you up at night. So 3 E's of habit change. Real simple. 3 E's is helpful for those that like acronyms. Enjoyment, environment, and ease. So if you can remember enjoyment, environment, and ease. Close your eyes and say it. Sometimes that helps me to retain information. Enjoyment, environment, and ease. And I'm going to explain what that looks like. So again, choosing to create those habits because of who we want to become, not who others told us we are. Some people might say to you, that's not going to work for you because of, and they'll start naming all the things of the reasons to why you can't do this or can't do that. But we're choosing habits based on who we want to become, not who others told us we are. We're not living by the limitations. We're living by who we know we are and what's possible for our lives. So just a quick reminder, that's what we're doing here. We're looking at things that are going to help us. So one of the things that help you to make it easy is to have obvious habits, as in make it obvious. So if you're going to journal, have the journal on the bed. It's an obvious place. If you're trying to get rid of perhaps using your phone, you put your phone in a different room. It then becomes invisible. So real simple technique, but it works. And sometimes we're trying to find complicated techniques and they don't work. So I want to make a habit stick. Make it obvious. You want to read a book on a specific book, the same book every night, then having that book on your bed, it's going to be an obvious habit. Having it on your bookshelf becomes invisible. So again, I'll give you these examples. Obvious, journal on my bed, mini bike at my desk, exercise band on my chair. All of those are out. When I'm finished with them, I can put them away. And then my routine for nighttime could be to put them back in those places if I want to be extra neat. But the bottom line is I get to make them obvious. If I put them away, I'm not going to remember them because they're out of sight, out of mind. And so those are the triggers that I need to have, those reminders that help me to have helpful habits. Let me know if that makes sense or if you want more clarification. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to make use of the 3 E's using habit stacking. Hopefully you've got a pen, maybe you've got your journal, and you're going to write in there after your current habit. Like after I wake up, I will, what's the habit you need? Meditate, if that's something you want to add. And after I meditate, I will watch an episode of Invincible or watch something else. It's the want is still there. What you get to have, your reward is still there, but you also get to have the new change as well. A landline be better in the room just in case there is an emergency call day or night. Yeah, so yeah, if you've got a landline, or even if you put your phone in, there's an emergency call day or night. I mean, in the daytime you can have it on, but perhaps the notifications is maybe emergency only, or you've got it on, but you've got it on silent mode for specific days. If you want a landline, that might work better for you if you get notifications a lot, and some of the times they're very distracting. So again, it's about what works for you. If it's an emergency, you're thinking there's lots of emergencies that come up, then having the room at least 6 foot away from you, so you're going to have to get up to go get it rather than it just being this luxury thing next to your bed, might be helpful. So hopefully you've written this sentence somewhere. So this is my example, just to make sure that you're picking up what I'm putting down. After I cleanse my face, current habit, I will journal, which is a new habit. And after journaling, new habit I need, I will watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That is a habit I want. So it sounds really simple, and it is, but it works. And so perhaps you've got one that you need to add. And so we're using 3 E's of habit stacking, and you probably remember what the 3 E's are. So let's go into some really important work. Not that the other work wasn't important, but this is gold, because oftentimes when we're talking about sleep, there are so many intricacies of it that if we don't talk about REM sleep, that deep sleep, that sleep that helps you to get full rest, then we are doing a disservice. So REM sleep is where short-term memories and experiences are converted into long-term memories. It's that quality sleep, that part of sleep mode where you're having the optimal rest time. And so if you are finding yourself stressed, depressed, this can obviously lead to things like disruptions and delays in REM sleep. And we already know that the quality of our sleep helps us to not become irritable. And so in the next couple of slides, we're going to be talking about how you can get more REM sleep and how you can implement it in a real easy way. Again, this is not complex. This is really simple strategies for you to take. So obviously REM, if you didn't know what it was, it stands for rapid eye movement sleep. And this phrase is really important to kind of get. to actually experience. Because there's 5 different stages, and getting into the final stage in REM and actually experiencing it time and time again will dramatically improve the quality of your sleep. So let's get into how you can increase that. Well, as it says, you can be mindful of your beverage intake. And that just basically means if you are drinking close to bedtime, you're going to more than likely get up during the night, which is going to disrupt your sleep, and you're less likely to get into that REM mode. Also, finding creative outlets for stress is really helpful, because if you are too stressed, then that's going to be ruminating over your mind. You're not going to be able to relax enough to get into REM. I mean, most dreams occur during that period of REM. You know, the role playing, the learning, the memory, all the moods, all of those things are processed in REM. So planning your sleep and wake times is helpful as well. So planning when you're going to go to sleep and then when you're going to be awake. Having a plan, full stop, is going to be really helpful. And obviously, for the third time, I'm reminding you about exercise, because that's helpful. Let's talk about those creative outlets to deal with stress, because oftentimes we don't dwell on what things are going wrong. We just kind of keep it moving. We just get it done. We're going ahead. And so we don't always get a chance to process, which means that oftentimes we have the stresses at the back of our mind. And so with that in mind, let's talk about creative outlet number 1. Journaling. You've heard of journaling before. You've probably tried it and you've not succeeded, or you've tried it and you've succeeded, but it's not been a consistent practice. So I'm going to share with you how you can make it more of a consistent practice a little bit later. But the bottom line here is journaling has so many big benefits. And so, you know, you can solve problems, you can reduce that stress, you can resolve those disagreements. All of those things are really helpful for us to navigate in this world, to make sense of it, to decode what's going on. So this is where the money game is when it comes to sleep. Being able to take the information out of your brain, being able to process, to decode what's really going on, and being able to put it down on paper or maybe on a PC, that helps you to kind of reflect once a week over the week of how your week's gone, and makes you much more grateful as well as to how much things you've overcome too. So there's so many great things about journaling as well. Creative outlet number 2, meditation. And now some people believe that mindful meditation, or meditation full stop, is too challenging for a person with ADHD, which is a big, massive myth. This begin again breath meditation is really simple to implement, really easy to use. And the job here is just to make it so simple. It's like breathing. You do it subconsciously. You just do it, right? Your body doesn't need a prompt. It just happens. So remembering that you are breathing and go back to the breath is a simple creative outlet to help you reduce the stress. And this begin again breath meditation full stop, helps you to get into that REM sleep mode. So there's that. Let's go on to something to consider, a little tip. Remember that meditation isn't just something you maybe do when you're going to bed, but you could do it in the morning as well, because it helps you to sleep better in the evening. Do it in the middle of the day, you're winning all the way. It's really important to consider that meditation doesn't have to be complex, doesn't have to be hard, doesn't have to be this massive thing that takes a lot of time. Meditation can be done in seconds, and there's lots of ways you can get creative with it as well. So some quick time habits that can help you have a better sleep is to remove temptation. You know, getting rid of your TV. I haven't had one in years. I have streaming services still because I use my PC, but I don't actually have a TV, and it's done wonders for my abilities to be able to focus and to get better night's sleep as well, because I don't sleep in front of the TV, which is a habit I used to do. I reduce my sweet intakes. I don't drink coffee. I have tried it before, and it's kept me very much awake and very high path, so I decided not to do that again. Sweets and chocolates and things like that are kept at a minimum. If I don't have them in the home, then I can't be tempted, so that's why I don't have them. And if I do have them and I then feel quite out of sorts that night, move your phone to another room at the night time as well. So Your mobile phone, put it away because it's a distraction and it's going to keep you awake as well. So you can have your landline if that's for emergencies around, as long as it's not got a specific light coming from it. But the bottom line is you want to avoid going and scrolling on social media and your TikToks and YouTubes and everything else. And you're going to also reduce those alert modes that come up too. So the whole point of me sharing REST, the REST method, is about getting you back to your optimal self. You know that there's the best version of you, the one that gets to be loud or quiet or focused or whatever it is, whatever is your best self, whichever one's aligns with your values. Those are who you are really, right? And so it's about getting you back to your optimal self, the self that gets to have fun, the self that feels really good about what's happening for them right now. And so that's what we're here to do, to focus on, just to give you that quick reminder. Let's focus back on what we started with. Let's go back to the beginning. We looked at rest as a way to have a routine. In terms of having great sleep, having a routine is essential. Exercise is part of that routine. Exercise is really helpful. We talked about HIIT routine. That will be really helpful because it's short burst. It's very diverse as well. You don't have to do the same HIIT routine time and time again. So that means you're getting it done quick, and there's variety in it. We also spoke about different exercises you could commit to, and you did commit to a few for daily exercises that was going to work for you. We then talked about sleep hygiene and how to have a sleep sanctuary and what that actually looks like for you, what that means for you. I shared with you my plant Ferguson and how that plant has helped me to have a better night's sleep. And I shared with you a few other tools that help me to have a great sleep as well. Then we talked about triggers in terms of being able to use this REST method. You want to be able to make this a habit. And we know that habits can be challenging because maybe they become this thing that starts off really well. We have our good intentions, and then over periods of weeks, periods of days, something interrupts it and we almost forget it and we don't continue it. And so it's getting back on that horse and recognizing that, accepting, hey, sometimes we're going to fall off the horse, we can get back on and we can be compassionate towards ourselves. It's quite okay. It's fine. And, you know, we know that there's this resilience that comes with it as well. So how can you bring it all together? Now, this is a really simple sleep plan. And you've got the reward at the top, and you've got before sleeping. You can have one after sleeping as well to help you have the best sleep for that night. You know, these are a short to-do list on your left, and then you have the consistency over the week as to how that looks like. This is just an example. It took me literally like 2 minutes to do. But for you, what does your sleep plan look like? Obviously, there's going to be notes to accompany this that will help you to move forward. But the bottom line is, it's a sleep plan that's going to be effective for you. And it might need to change to get it optimized for you. And that's okay. You might fall off the horse a few times, again, getting back on. And so knowing that you've come back, you've done the sleep plan, you're coming back now, what are your next steps with Exceptional Individuals? 60% of you said you want some mentoring, 20% said coaching, 20% of you are going to subscribe or follow us on social media. And I'm going to send you an email at the end of this so that you get a chance to do all of those things and more too. So that's it from me. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video as well to support us and to reach more people. For now, you've just been part of the ADHD and Sleep, the REST method.